everyone, it's Pluggo. I'm back on behalf of Love Wrestling with another interview with the one, the only, AMIRA. 470 on this past PWI. She's wrestled for AEW, ROH, Defy, Prestige, LPW. She's done it all. I could list it all day. First and foremost, before we dive into it, how are you?
I'm doing good. Came back from a busy week in Vegas for Mania.
Yeah. And that's exactly where I wanted to start. You had yourself quite the collective weekend. First and foremost, overall, before we dive into any specifics of it, how was the experience this year in Vegas?
It was wild. I think like the first Mania I ever went to in my wrestling career was the one in LA. And I had like a couple bookings for that, but nothing much. And then I went out to Philly, didn't have anything really for that one. And then this year, I wrestled like 7 times. I had a show in California too before I headed out to Vegas, so 8 times for the week. So yeah, it was busy. It was fun. I feel like the energy was so much like livelier than maybe last year in Philly. So yeah, it's fun to see everybody.
A little warmer out there, maybe the people are more perky with warm weather. Now
yeah, it was so cold.
You said you wrestled 7 shows. I watched maybe 7 to 8 shows, and I'm still tired from WrestleMania weekend. How does one recover from that kind of intense weekend, or even prepare for something crazy like that?
I think the best way to prepare is to kind of just go in with a good mindset, because you're gonna be a little beat up, a little sore. But if you go in with a good mindset, you're kind of just like, okay, I might be kind of limping around today, but I had fun. So
that's all that matters.
I tried to like relax a little bit outside of the matches. I wasn't going too crazy, although I did walk a lot up and down the strip. So
I have heard from everybody that I've talked to that's been in Vegas that walking is it's a lot of walking out there. I've never been, so I wouldn't know, but I mean, heck. So you go to the collective weekend. You said that you had 7 bookings. Which one was your favorite? Which show overall? Now, I have a couple that I have like pinpointed to ask you specific questions about. But what about your collective weekend from the wrestling standpoint stood out to you the most?
I really liked doing the Prestige show. That was a lot of fun. Just the match that we had. Me, Drexel, Jaded, and Matt Brannigan against Rivers, Von Vertigo, Tate Mayfairs, and Zaya Brooks. It was just a fun match. So that was cool to be a part of. And then the first night that I was there, I did a women's show for New Tradition Lucha Libre. And it was just cool to be part of an all-women's thing, being run by a woman as well. So that was a lot of fun too.
Outside of the wrestling, now, this could be maybe a match you saw or just something that you did in Vegas. What outside of wrestling on the collective weekend were you like, there was appointment viewing or you had to go do?
I had to go see Big Gay Brunch because my roommate and my dear friend Zay Perez was on it, and then also Stephen Crow.
Yeah, our Rhinestone Cowboy. Yeah,
So, and Randy Myers too. So I had to go out and support. So I definitely went to that. I saw Artemis Spencer wrestle Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, that must have been pretty cool.
That was great. That was incredible. The only thing I wanted to do but didn't get to do, mostly because I was really tired, is that I wanted to see Car Noir and Minoru Suzuki, but I watched the replay of it. But yeah, that was the day that I had 4 matches back to back, so I was pretty spent by the time that they were about to go on.
I think because I'm on the East Coast, I think I'm in the Eastern time zone, I guess I'm not on the East Coast, but I think that match was going on as I was getting up for work. Yeah. Because the times threw me off this year for the collective. I was like, what time does it start? Midnight there? Is it midnight here? But that's awesome. I always find that. And then, so you said you started with LA, the collective. You went to Philly. As you've grown, you've got more matches under your belt. I always try to use these when I talk to independent wrestlers and wrestlers that do these kind of things. Maybe some other wrestler might stumble upon this and be like, I want to tackle the collective. Do you have any tips or tricks that maybe helped you navigate it that maybe somebody listening will go, you know what, I'm going to try that when I want to jump in? Because I always hear independent wrestlers, the collective is always on the bucket list.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is like, even if you don't have something, just go out there and start connecting with people. I am very lucky that this year was in Vegas and a lot of my home promotions were there in Vegas, and even just like Dusk, WrestleCore, Prestige, like those are all shows that I've been on before. So it was a little bit easier this time around, but there was still like a lot of people who didn't get booked on these shows. But in the case of Dusk, we needed a filler match, and people who weren't on the show got to be on the show. So it's one of those, be around and be ready to help. Helping out and connecting with people and making your face known is like one of the best ways to branch out and get yourself booked on these shows like the collective and all that.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, networking is super important in this game. You got to do it. So if you're
Hmm.
listening, you're thinking about doing it, take her advice. Get out there, get known. You mentioned Dusk Pro. A couple weeks back, my good friend Blair and I, for exposure here, talked to Elliot Tyler
Hmm.
about his dog collar match with Mad Dog Conley, who's become a staple of the dog collar match. You had one with him
Yes.
as well. And I asked Elliot the same thing, and he kind of gave me a generic, you can't really prepare for it. How do you prepare for a dog collar match? Not only a dog collar match, but with one of the pillars of that match type. How do you get yourself psyched up and prepared for that?
um Again, it's one of those rare things that don't happen a lot, so you kind of have to, okay, go into it ready for anything. um I made sure to have enough caffeine and food that day. Maybe not full meals, maybe little snacks, but I was definitely making sure I was energized for that.
You know,
And you kind of have to try and match the mindset. So kind of try and tap into a different part of yourself, match the energy as well. Yeah.
he's got a special type of energy. I don't know many people that can match it. You held your own there, and you mentioned the caffeine intake there. How what was the go-to caffeinated beverage of choice over that collective weekend?
You know, I actually didn't have as much caffeine as I normally do, which is kind of wild.
Well, that's
I
probably
think
a
it was
good
just the
thing.
circumstance. It's probably a good thing because I think that day that I had the dog collar match, the first like caffeinated drink I had was just a latte,
Oh,
an iced
hey,
latte,
there's
and then
nothing
I
wrong
had
with
a
that.
little bit of an energy drink, and that was it for the day. And I honestly don't know how I made it through, but
I'm a caffeine. I have to have it to start my day. I have to have it throughout the day, or else I am not myself. Which again, don't know if that's good. Don't know if that's bad. But I
yeah,
thought I'd ask because a weekend like that, I feel like that's something where you go, you know what? Just for this weekend, I'm going to put a couple extra in the bag just to have them because I'm working so much. Now
yeah.
we talked about the dog collar match and how to prepare for that. And I bet to answer the next question is going to be, I actually discovered you for the first time when you had your death match with Drexel up at Prestige.
Oh yeah.
And I just was like, I think you are fantastic. You played the part real well. You held your own with the legend in that game. What is what is the preparation like? Maybe different from just a regular like, hey, I'm going to go in and have a singles match, but hey, I know tonight I got to go that extra mile. How do you get your mind into that place to do that, especially again with a guy like Drexel, who's just an absolute legend in that, and that is his forte.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the more nerve-wracking matches of my career
Yeah,
because it was so like unknown. Um, but it's one of those things where like Drexel's been doing it for such a long time, so I really had nothing to worry about. But it's still like a different sensation. It's a different kind of pain you're
yeah.
going through mixed with adrenaline, and you're kind of having to manage it all and take everything in. Um, I feel like to prepare for that, uh, I think I watched a lot of Drexel matches to prepare for it. And I also try to drink a lot of water and caffeine.
That seems to be the mindset. Yeah, because like
Yep.
I always find that style of match fascinating in the sense that I just don't think that there's a great way. And again, I'm not a wrestler. I've only stepped in a ring once and barely could get out of it. So I am like the last person that would know, but I just feel like, how do you prepare for, thumbtacks to the back or a light tube to the face? Like, I just don't feel like there's a great way to go, yep, I'm ready.
Yeah, it's not like you can.
Yeah.
You're not going to willingly throw yourself into thumbtacks to prepare for this.
Yeah,
It's
and you're
one of
not.
those, like, do it there.
Yeah, because you're not, a normal match, you're probably going through the motions and talking about it or working on some moves. You can't really work on some of those spots. It's like, we got to just hope and pray that it hits. And like I said, I was like, oh my God, she held her own so well. Like, it was fantastic. I thought it was one of my favorite matches on the card. And I was like, well, I gotta get an interview. I gotta talk to her about that, because I just thought that was so cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun in a weird way. It's not like one of those things that you go through all the time. And again, the sensation's very different from a normal match. Like, I remember looking down at one point, my hands were shaking.
Yeah.
Because, like, there was so much, like, adrenaline and just, like, pure, like, pain and all that going through my body. And, again, you can't really practice taking a pile driver through a door with light tubes and barbed wire on it.
Right. Yeah.
It's one of those things you kind of have to let rip.
So, and to kind of like talk about it even further, so it's a new sensation. It's something different. You're doing dog collar match. Do you prefer this style? Is this something you want to do more, or maybe even push further? Or is it something where you're like, it was cool and it was fun for the story, but hey, I think I'm just gonna dip my toe into this, so to speak.
It's definitely not something I would do all the time. Mostly just because longevity, maybe. But
That's fair.
I really like these kinds of matches here and there, just because it's kind of more for me than anything else, and I may be sick in that regard. But yeah, no, that dog collar match. Like, I had seen Mad Dog Connolly last year, the Mania in Philly. I saw him wrestle in New Jersey and had a dog collar match, and I remember looking at my friend Spencer, and I was like, "This is it. I want that." I
Yeah.
don't know what it is, but I want it.
Is there another match type out there that you haven't maybe competed in yet that you watch and you go, you know what? I got to put that on the list of matches to do. Punjabi prison match, maybe Judy Bagwell on a bull match. I mean, I'm throwing out some goofball ones, but
I would love to be part of. I mean, it's terrifying to me, but ladder match, just for the thrill of it. A ladder match, and then I don't know how realistic it is, or even if people are entertained by it anymore, but like the Taipei death match where you have the glass on your wrists, on your fists and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Again,
few
that's
of
a
those.
sick freak in me. But
I think we all have that side to us in one way or another, so I am not here to judge. It's 2025, AMIRA. We listen, we do not judge. That is what we do here. So initially, we're going to dive into it. Initially, when I reached out to you, you were going to be at LPW 36, and things have changed. And I'm still happy that we're having you. You were at LPW 34, and I was more than excited about that, because you and Taryn is a matchup that I absolutely was looking forward to. First of all, before we get into why you won't be at 36, because I think it's a big deal and a huge accomplishment, how was your experience in Edmonton for the first time with Love Pro Wrestling?
it was fun. I had a lot of fun going out there. I went to the mall, the West Edmonton Mall, and it was incredible. I didn't know you could fit so many fun things into a mall.
Yeah.
I did that first, and then the match with Taryn was fun. It was good to just like go to a different part, because I go to Vancouver, BC all the time. So it was good to get a little bit further up there and see a different part.
Yeah,
and see friends that I don't normally see all the time.
Yeah, I know we were very excited to have you, and the match ruled. And like, Taryn's one of my favorites, and you're awesome. So it was a match made in heaven. And so, like I said, 36, You had a match lined up with MRB, which, trust me, I've been hoping somebody's going to give that guy his comeuppance, and I was hoping it was going to be you. But it came out. You recently announced that you are heading overseas to Japan for Marvelous.
Yes, I am.
So congratulations. That's a huge opportunity. We're all stoked for you here. How did that kind of come to be, and what was the decision to make that call to go? That's a big leap, and that's another one of those things that I always talk to wrestlers about that said that's on their bucket list. They want to do it. They got to do it. So how'd that come to be for you?
Yeah, so last year in October, there was a tryout, a Marvelous tryout held by West Coast Pro. And I had done one before, like in my first year of wrestling, and I didn't get selected from that tryout. But I took some time and then I decided, I don't know, I had a feeling the second time around. I'm like, I feel like I need to do the tryout
Yeah.
again. And I went and did it last October and I got selected from the tryout. So me and Fancy Ryan Clancy were selected to go and train with Marvelous for 3 months. But it took a while before things got kind of rolling to actually send us over there. And then yeah, only in the past couple weeks did we nail down that we were actually leaving May 1st.
Oh.
So it was a little last minute, I won't lie. We knew around what time we would be leaving, but like doing the visa stuff, we're kind of pushing it a little bit close, but yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I was able to get the opportunity, just doing the tryout, and they liked what they saw.
So what's the main goal out there? What's the wrestling goal? What are you like? This is maybe not objective. I feel like objective is such a strong term where it's like I have to do it or else. But like, what are you looking forward to the most?
I mean, the big thing is getting to wrestle in all those like legendary venues we see in like all the old school, all Japan and all that. Like, getting to wrestle in Korakuen Hall, which I think is going to happen sooner than we were all anticipating.
Yeah.
So yeah, the main thing I just want to learn different style. Want to train the way they train, and like they have training just about every single day except for like on Sundays and show days.
Yeah.
So I want to learn as much as I can, wrestle as much as I can, and kind of come back different kind of wrestler.
And then what's on a personal goal there that you're trying to accomplish while you're there? Like you said, you might have some downtime when you're not training. What are you looking forward to the most out there?
Besides like probably Disney and Universal,
Yeah.
I would love to go to one of the like animal cafes they have, like the capybara cafes or the
Yeah.
raccoon ones. Those seem like fun.
Oh, as a father with kids, my kids love capybaras, and I'm like, I didn't know what those things were until I became a dad. But they look like a good time, so
Yeah.
you definitely have to hit that up and tell me how cool it was.
Yes.
That sounds awesome. So I'm gonna put you on the spot then. So does that mean we're gonna see you back in LPW sometime soon? Maybe
I hope so.
taking down MRB. You want to come back and take care of that?
I would
for me?
love to come back.
He yells at me all the time. He's gonna
I would
yell at
love
me
to
for
come
bringing
back,
this
yeah.
up. Yeah, he's gonna yell at me for bringing this up, man. And then I happened to be looking through the comment section, and I wanted to ask you about your comment section congratulating you on this big move over to Marvelous and doing this thing. Nicole Matthews said, "Don't F it up." Is that because you beat her at the collective weekend? Or is that just I mean, I'm assuming it's a playful rivalry, but could it have to do with the fact that you took care of business against her?
Definitely a playful rivalry. You know, I think in her own way, she expresses her love, but it's a little bit more aggressive. Um, but yeah, I've wrestled Nicole so many times since I started,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think at this point, we've wrestled a few times, and it's just a little bit playful rivalry.
I figured it was.
Yeah.
Nicole is one of Canada's absolute best. So I have to imagine being able to pick her brain and work with her has done nothing but help help you
It's the
along.
absolute best. Yeah.
And you guys seem to bring the best out of each other. So when I saw that, I was just like, oh, was she being nice? I felt like she was, but
Yeah.
so
She
as we
definitely
kind of,
was in her special way.
yeah. So as we kind of wind down a little bit here, let's have a little bit of fun. Um, you've wrestled, like I said at the top, the list is endless for places that you've been, you've wrestled. Where is somewhere that you absolutely want to wrestle? Like, where's somewhere that's not on that list that we're going to try to cross off here sooner than later?
I would love to go to the UK. Mostly because I've never been there before. Also, there's the other AMIRA in the UK.
Yes. Yes.
So I would love to go out and visit her, maybe get to wrestle her, who knows? I would love to do that. And then I would also love to wrestle in the parking lot of a Denny's, but I don't know if that's ever going to be a possibility. Somebody's going to run a show at the Denny's.
Okay, well, I didn't expect to get to that point, but okay, heck yeah. So Denny's it is. I'm here for it. Spencer, why don't you just is there Denny's up in Edmonton? Let's make it happen. I don't have a Denny's around me, so if we can find a Denny's, let's make that happen. Maybe we can get a Mira versus a Mira at a Denny's in the UK in the parking lot. Cross it all off.
Oh my God. Cross it all off? That'd be insane.
I mean, I'm here to facilitate however I can to make that match happen. I take it you're a fan of Denny's, so what's the order?
Oh my goodness. Most of the time, especially because I mostly only eat there when it's really late at night
Yeah.
after a show. I normally get like the veggie omelet.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll get the pancakes with like all the whipped cream and all the
Af-
strawberries and stuff.
After a death match where you've like, I just went through a door of barbed wire and light tubes. I'm getting
It's like
pancakes.
I need this, yeah.
This is how I heal. I
Mm-hmm.
respect that immensely.
Yeah, and a milkshake. I love getting a milkshake.
What flavor?
Although, um, either chocolate or strawberry. But a lot
Okay.
of times they like to lie and say they don't have any ice cream.
Of course. As
That's
a
normally a lie.
as a former food service industry worker, the cleaning that thing is not fun. I used to
Yeah,
work. I
yeah.
used to work at IHOP, and I'd be like, "Yeah, we're out of ice cream today." No, not my finer moments. And listen, now I'd be like, "That's a." I would absolutely go out of my way to make ice cream for people. But back then, when I was young and tired all the time, now I'm just old and tired all the time. But I'll get you a milkshake because you know what? Life. It's 2025. Life is tough. The
Life
world
is
is tough.
tough. Yeah.
Yeah, life is tough. Everybody deserves a milkshake. Before I get you out of here, we talked about you're heading over to Japan to go to Marvelous. You're doing that thing. What else do you have as a goal for 2025? What else are you saying? You know what? We're at the quarter point of 2024. I got to try to get this in before the year's out.
Um, I think I have a few goals that I write down every year. Um, I would love to win match of the year for a promotion. That would be great. And I think I did actually put on my list to wrestle in the UK before the year is
Nice,
done too.
nice,
So
nice.
that would include a lot of travel for 1 year, but I think I can make it happen.
Well, you said you wanted to win match of the year. What match so far in 2025 have you had that you would think, you know what? I think that that's in the running of that promotion.
Mm, I think at least for down here in Oregon, at least for Portland, I feel like me versus Tyler Bateman could be a good contender for the DOA match of the year. That's one off the top of my head.
All
Yeah.
right, DOA, put it on the list. It's early. Secure the spot. I'll spam the vote. We'll get the vote spammed.
Hell yeah.
Let's make that happen. Listen, I'm here to make things happen. One last question, and then I'm going to get you out of here because, like I said, I want you to get back to doing your thing. You got a lot going on. You got a lot of travel arrangements to make, so I've taken up more time than you're so gracious. But you made the PWI, like I said at the top, 470. That's a good number. What are we shooting for in 2025? When I go to the newsstand and I pick up that issue, where do you want to be on that list?
I want to be at least 450.
450, 20 more
I
spots.
want to move up. Yeah.
I have a feeling
Fingers
you're going to
crossed.
be. I have a feeling you're going to be a little higher than 450.
Yeah.
So I see what you're doing. You're shooting a little low, so you're not disappointed. But hey, I'm going to say 300. You're going to get in there. You're having a hell of a start to 2025. You ended the year great. So AMIRA, I appreciate your time. PWI, don't make me look silly. Get her in the 300. Kevin, I'm watching you. Tell the people where they can find you, what you've got coming up. I know you're traveling, so let everybody know where they can find you and stay up to date with your journey over there in Japan.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram a lot. You can find me at Amira is squirrel, like the animal squirrel.
Yeah.
And then Twitter, Amira is wrestler. Those are the two main places that you'll find a lot of my updates on things.
Very cool. Very cool. Before you know it, it'll be AMIRA is Capybara after she gets back from that animal cafe
Exactly.
in Japan. So you'll have to stay up to date. Make sure you follow her. Make sure you follow Love Wrestling at Love Wrestling CA across all platforms to keep up to date with what we've got going on as a site. I'm Pluggo. You know where to find me. You just search Pluggo. My face pops up. I'm right there on all your social media platforms. AMIRA, thank you so much for your time. I absolutely appreciate it. This was a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
No, anytime. All right, guys. Until next time, we're out. Peace.